Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It has been a while since I have uploaded. I think my last video was about plus size pregnancy, and since then I have given birth to my baby Bentley. Why does he look like he has red hair in the viewfinder? He does not have red hair. Maybe it's just me seeing things. So I have given birth to him, and today's video, he's looking right at the camera. In today's video, I'm just kind of introducing him, showing he's currently pushing a poop. He has not pooped all morning. Let's get this on camera, shall we? Did you wait till we were on camera to do this? Oh, I think he just pooped. We're gonna change your diaper. So anyway, this is Bentley. Today's video, I'm just kind of introducing him and I'm gonna share my labor story with you guys. It was pretty easy for the most part. So he was born July 2nd, 2019 at 4:35 a.m. I was induced. What else is about him? He was he was 7 pounds 7 ounces and he was 21 inches long. So yeah, I think that's all the major facts about him. His name is Bentley. How we got the name, I actually got it off of Teen Mum. You guys probably know. It's one of the kids' names on Teen Mum. I've loved it ever since I was like the age of 16, and I just knew I wanted to name him Bentley, and luckily enough my fiance actually agreed with me. He loves the name too, so we named him that. And yeah, that's the basic facts about Bentley. His outfit is so cute. Oh, here we go. He is wearing Mickey Mouse right now. Let's get real close. Thumbnail. He just farted and pooped. There it is. Let's get into the labor story. I'm gonna put him down. So, my labor story, I actually went over 40 weeks by 2 days, which was not, this wasn't planned whatsoever. I didn't have an induced date. I didn't have anything set. Basically I went to my normal OB appointment, but I had, sorry if you can hear him still pushing in the back. I had a normal OB appointment, my last one, but my OB was actually on her vacation, so I saw a backup OB. And when I went there at 30, I think I was 39 weeks, almost 40 weeks. I think it was on a Thursday, and my due date, I was 40 weeks on the Saturday. So I went to that appointment and my blood pressure was actually high, which was weird because the whole pregnancy it was normal. There was never anything, but it was high when I went to that last appointment. So she actually sent me to the hospital that same day. She said, just leave here, go straight to the hospital, just so they can check your blood pressure again and see what to do from there. So I went to the hospital on the Thursday and my blood pressure was high, and they gave me, what did they give me for it? What happened then? They gave me a pill for it, like a medication, and it went back down. So everything was fine, but they said come back in on Monday so we can check your blood pressure again. By Monday comes, I would have been 40 weeks in 2 days. So Monday was actually Canada Day, it was a holiday, and they said come on Monday, your OB is actually in the hospital on Monday anyway. She's the OB on call that day. So they said come on Monday since your OB will be there anyway, and we'll do a blood pressure check. And they did mention, kind of float the idea around, that she may decide to induce you that day. But it was not anything planned. The OB had no idea about it, and it's her decision. Like, it was nothing. They just kind of floated the idea about that, like, she may decide to. So I wasn't counting on it, but I was like secretly hoping, because by the time you hit 40 weeks, I was just ready for this baby to come out. And I wasn't dilating at all, so I knew that if I wasn't going to get induced, I was going to go another 2 weeks with no baby, because I was not progressing whatsoever. So Monday rolls around, and I call that morning, because they didn't give me a time to go back. They just said call Monday morning and we'll give you a time to come in. So I call right at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, and I'm like, hi, I need to come back in for a blood pressure check. But they also, and I was really pushing for this induction, they also mentioned that since my OB is in, they may induce me. Is that something we can do today? And they basically said you can't request that, it's just up to your OB, like, but just come in, we'll do your blood pressure check. So at this point I was like really disappointed that they didn't tell me on the phone we could just induce me, and they told me just to come in for my normal blood pressure check, because I thought, great, they're not going to do it. So I go back in, and my blood pressure is, I believe it was still a little high, but wasn't really concerningly high. And my OB comes in, and I'm like, it was Monday 8 a.m. Wait, was it? Yeah, so the whole process of getting your blood pressure check is kind of long, because they make you lay there for like an hour to monitor. So, yeah, okay, so I went in, and they did all the blood pressure and everything, and my OB comes in and talks to me and says, I see no point in continuing this pregnancy. If you want to be induced because you're over 40 weeks, we can definitely do that. And I'm like, yes, 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 yes. So Canada Day, I knew the labor process was going to begin. They didn't do the IV induction, which I'm glad they did not. We actually did the gel induction. So what they do is they put this gel thing, I don't really know how it is, but it's like a gel kind of drip or something that goes up in your vagina and like drips onto your cervix, I think, which helps thin it out, something like that. And they did that at 9, and they make you lay there for an hour just to make sure it's all in there while you're laying down. So they make you lay there for an hour, and then you actually get to go home for 6 hours. And they said if you don't go into labor or have any emergencies, come back in at 4. And at 4, what they do is do a second induction. So within those 6 hours, if nothing happens, it means the gel didn't work the first time. And they just do a second dose of it, which eventually one of the dosages will work for you. So I went home for 6 hours, nothing happened, I felt fine, everything was great. I was just like, come on, where's this baby? So I go back in at 4 for the second induction. And this is where things just kind of sped up. So I get the induction, I go in at 4, I'm out by about 5:30ish. We had to stop at my boyfriend's parents' house quickly to fill up our gas tank, because I think the gas station was closed, it was Canada Day, so they had a gas tank at their house and we just filled up using that. And everything was fine. Like, I was having little crampy kind of pains, but they said cramping is normal because when you're dilating a little bit, you cramp. Like, I don't know if they're Braxton Hicks or what, but like they said cramping is normal. So I'm sitting on this ball, by the way, my pregnancy ball. So I'm sitting at his parents' house and everything's kind of fine, but occasionally I feel a little little cramp. But nothing, it's all good. My plan was to come home because the nurse told me, make sure you eat before you come back in at 10. Oh, they told me when I left at 5. If you don't go into labor by, within the next 6 hours, come back at 10 p.m. and we'll do a third dosage, or we'll just decide to break your water for you. So yeah, they told me that. So my plan was, if this didn't work, was to go back in at 10. So like either way, this baby was coming. They were just gonna keep going with different dosages or break my water, which I was pleased about because we were getting somewhere finally. So everything was fine. I was sitting at my boyfriend's parents, and I had even planned to come home and I was gonna cook some shrimp and have like a nice dinner. before I go into the hospital at 10, since I can't eat if they decide to break my water. Once you're in labor, you can't eat. So we get home and everything's fine, so fine. My boyfriend decides to make some shrimp for me because I was still like a little crampy and just kind of wanted to sit down. So I was finishing up packing hospital bags and stuff like that and just getting organized. And my boyfriend was making shrimp for me, and the shrimp takes 14 minutes to make, okay? 14 minutes is how long it takes to cook. I remember before the shrimp was even done, literally 2 minutes before it was done, there must have been like 2 minutes left, I went to the bathroom because I was bouncing on this ball actually, just bouncing away, and I felt like the pop sensation. I don't know if it was my water breaking because at the hospital, they said, I don't know if that's your water or not. I think it is though, after, because she said something else after. So I felt the popping and I went to the bathroom. No water came out. I guess it's normal when your water breaks. Sometimes it doesn't all come out right away. So I go to the bathroom and instantly, literally instantly, between that pop and like by the time I walked to the bathroom and sat on the toilet, instantly I was in the worst pain I have ever felt. And I don't mean to scare any of you guys. Keep in mind I was induced, so like there's no gradual pain where you have time to like go to the hospital and be monitored and like relaxed. I was induced, so it came on like that. There was no gradual increase of pain. So I'm sitting in the bathroom thinking I have to poop or something, like just in so much pain, where I'm actually like curled over on the toilet, like, and I'm like, and then I hear my boyfriend come up with my shrimp. He's like, your shrimp's done. And I'm like, I think we need to go to the hospital like now. And John is like, are you sure? Like, we just got back. And I'm like, no, like we need to go now. And he didn't believe me, as I'm like curled in the bathroom in a ball. So I came into the bedroom, and my bathroom is literally outside my bedroom door. Like, it's right there. Like 2 steps and you're in the bathroom, and then 2 steps back and you're in the bedroom. Before I even made it back into the bedroom, another contraction came. So at this point, these were contractions. So I hadn't even made it back in, contractions came, and I'm curled over on the bed, but like no position is comfortable when you're having a contraction. Like sitting straight up, not comfortable for me. And then standing, impossible. So I'm like curled on the bed with my head down, bum up, just yelling out in pain. I remember I was yelling in pain. It was so bad because it happens so fast when you get induced. So I'm like, we need to go to the hospital. And he's like, why don't you sit on the ball and bounce and eat your shrimp, and then we'll see if you're still having the pains. Because I think he didn't realize how bad they were, because the whole pregnancy has been so like easy going, and I hadn't had Braxton Hicks, so we didn't really know what to expect pain wise. But I think he thought maybe it was too soon for the pain to come on since we just got back from the second time. So he's like, why don't you sit on the ball, bounce, eat your shrimp, and then we'll see if we need to go. And I'm like, no, like you don't understand, we need to go now, because the contractions at this point, I swear to God, must have been 1 to 2 minutes apart. And here's how I know this. It wasn't timing, because I couldn't have my phone. I couldn't pick up my phone. Like, it's that bad. When people say, I used to keep saying the whole pregnancy, how am I going to know if I'm having a contraction if I've never had them before? I literally could not pick up my phone and text. I couldn't tell anyone I was in labor because I was in so much pain that I couldn't pick up my phone and concentrate to text. So I'm like, we need to go now, but I'm like shoveling like 4 pieces of shrimp in my mouth because I know when I get there I can't eat. So like after that contraction ended, I'm like eating 4 pieces of shrimp so fast, and another contraction comes along. So he's like, okay, we'll go now. And it's 7 p.m. at this time, so it happened at 4, I left there at 5. So only 2 hours later, it starts happening. And I felt that popping sensation at about 7:12. I remember checking the time. So yeah, he's like, okay, we'll go. He starts putting things in the car. And I'm like, okay, I need to wait till this contraction ends and then I'll run down the stairs. And the contractions were so close together that leaving the house in between contractions was like a hassle. Like if they're 5 minutes apart, you can grab your bags, go down the stairs, get in the car and start driving. They were so close together that by the time the contraction ended in my bedroom, I had to run down the stairs before the next one came. I remember thinking I'm not going to make it down the stairs before the next contraction comes. So I literally book it down the stairs as fast as I can without like, I don't even know, like here I am pregnant, 40 weeks and 2 days pregnant, and I'm like trying to book it down the stairs before the next contraction comes. So I get to the bottom of the stairs and the next one happens. It doesn't take 3 to 5 minutes to get down the stairs. So my contractions were an unbelievable, like, I don't even know how close they were. No one actually told me when I got there how close they were, but they were close. So then I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs and I'm like, I have got to get into this car before the next contraction comes or the whole neighborhood is going to hear me screaming in pain. So I wait for the contraction at the bottom of the stairs, and as soon as that contraction ends, I book it to the car and I didn't make it in the car. The front passenger door is open, I am bent over, head down, bum up again with the door wide open, and the other contraction comes. That's how close they were. I don't even understand. I don't understand. I thought contractions were meant to be like decent time apart. So I make it, I get to the car, I have that contraction, I get in, another one happens, we leave, John drives us there, we live 5 minutes away, thank God, because car rides are not fun. So we make it to the hospital, and most people just walk in. I couldn't walk, they were so close together. I was like, you need to park here and go get a wheelchair. So he gets a wheelchair, wheels me in, because where we park is kind of far from the labor ward. Is that what it's called? Labor ward? I don't know. So he wheels me in. I'm still in pain, like yelling in pain. And thank God it was a holiday, so like the rest of the hospital was like closed, except for the labor ward and the emergency part. So no one really heard me yelling in pain until we got to the labor ward on the 3rd floor. The elevator's open and I'm just like in pain having a contraction. And they're like, oh, you're back. And then my OB's in the background. She's like, oh, you don't sound too comfortable. Yeah, I was in agony. The worst pain ever. I kept saying I can't do this. I think I said I'm scared a few times. Like I have an option. Like, you're gonna do it. You have no option. You gotta do this. So they put me in the room that's like the triage room. It's outside of the room where you go after you have your baby. So like there's the labor section, and then once you have your baby you get transferred through to the delivery section where all the newborn babies are. So I'm in one room where they just do checkups. So like the first 2 little rooms are just like where I got my blood pressure checked, like random little checkups. So they take me in there, do a small checkup, and then that's when I stood up in there, that's when all the water came out. I was like, oh my God, my water just like exploded on your floor. So I'm in there for a little bit in pain. They do their checkups, monitor me for a little bit, monitor the baby, and then they finally take me into the actual labor room, and I'm like, oh my God, this is real. We're going to a labor room. They wanted me to walk there, by the way. You want me to walk from here to the labor room when I couldn't even get from my bathroom to my bedroom without a major contraction. She's like, it's best if you walk. I was like, is it? I can't walk. So they take me in there into the labor room, get my gown on. Getting a gown on in between contractions, also not easy. So then I remember asking a million times, when can I get the epidural? When I went in there, I was 3 centimeters dilated. I was like, is that it? I feel like I'm at 10, seriously. So it was 3 centimeters dilated, which happened really fast because just 2 hours before I was not even 1 centimeter dilated. So yeah, that happened fast. And then she came back in to do the epidural. Finally, after me laying there in pain asking for an epidural, I was like, please, when can I have the drugs? they finally come back in after getting all the paperwork and stuff they need to do the epidural, and I'm like, thank God, thank you. By this point, I think it was 10 o'clock I got the epidural, 10 p.m. So I was in pain for about 3 hours. So when they came in to do the epidural, I was 5 centimeters dilated, and they gave me the epidural. I was really scared of needles, and she was trying to make me feel better. So she's like, the freezing is actually worse than the epidural needle, and I'm like, oh, okay. So as she's doing it, I'm like, I'm scared, I can't do this. And she's like, now we're gonna do the freezing. It's gonna sting a little bit like a bee sting. And she's like, she was so cute trying to make me feel better. She's like, we'll name him Bob. Bob the Bee is coming. Yeah, I'm a big baby, okay? So she does that, get the epidural. It really was not that bad. You just feel pressure. Even the sting, the freezing part was not hard. Yeah, so if you're worried about the epidural, don't be. It's not bad. So yeah, I finally get the epidural, and they tell you it takes about 20 minutes to kick in. Mine kicked in within 5 minutes. I was not mad about that. From there on out, labor was a breeze. It was easy. Once the epidural comes, oh, thank you. I was so happy. I had my phone. I could finally tell my mother I was in labor. I remember before I got the epidural, I really wanted her to know I was in the hospital because she was messaging me. She knew I was induced. And so I'm like, literally in between contractions, I was trying to type out a message to her. And I literally said, in labor, can't talk, so much pain, something like that. Getting epidural soon, will update you soon. Something along those lines. And she's like, oh my God, okay. So yeah, then I put my phone down because I could not handle that during those contractions. But I got the epidural 10 p.m. and it was all perfect from there on. And I remember, and there was no pain after that at all. I think I like slightly closed my eyes for 5 to 10 minutes. But they come in and check on you so often that like sleeping is kind of impossible. And I remember them coming in and checking around midnight, I think. And they said, or maybe it was around 1:30, I don't remember, but this is where I kind of get my times mixed up, because I thought when you hit 10 centimeters, you're kind of like, means you start pushing. But I swear they came in at midnight and they were like, when they checked me, they said, oh, you're a full 10 already. Or maybe it was around 2. I don't know. My times are all mixed up. But they said, oh, you're at 10 centimeters already. And they were like shocked because it was really fast. I was shocked too. I was like, what? Because I went from 5 to 10 really quickly. And they were walking out too, and they were like talking to each other like, oh my God, that was really fast. Considering she was only at 5 at 10:30. So I didn't have him until 4:35, so surely they didn't have me sit there for, it took like an hour to get paperwork and get my OB up and ready and blah blah blah. So like, I don't know, did I sit there for 3 hours at 10 centimeters, or like how does that work? I don't really know, but I didn't feel the urge to push. I couldn't feel anything, so I guess that's okay. But I did hit 10 centimeters really fast, and then we started pushing around 3:30, and the pushing was not, ooh, I almost fell off the ball. The pushing was not painful. It was just hard to tell when to push when you can't feel anything, and I know some people don't like that, not being able to feel anything. The thing is, I could feel when the first contraction would come, like the contraction would kind of come on, because the epidural wasn't wearing off, but like I hadn't given myself a dosage. They give you a button where if you start to feel it wearing off, you can click the button and it pumps more into you. But I didn't click that because we were starting to push, and I kind of had to be able to feel when to push, but I couldn't really. I could feel when the contraction was coming, but only the first push was efficient for me. So they made you do 3 pushes within 1 contraction. And I could feel the first one. So the first push I did was the best one, because I could kind of feel that. But the second and third, I couldn't feel anything. It didn't feel like I was doing it productively. So they had to tell me like, okay, you need to push now, but like I didn't feel anything. So yeah, we pushed for an hour. I wasn't feeling productive. I was tired, exhausted from pushing. I was like sipping water in between each one. It was just exhausting. And an hour later, I hadn't really progressed. He was a little lower down, but wasn't low enough, like we were not getting anywhere. So my OB comes in. Thank you, OB. This woman is she's like a god sent from heaven. She's, oh, thank you. She comes in and she's like, I was scared because I thought the option was going to be to an emergency C-section, and I was terrified of that happening. So she comes in and I'm like, oh my god, she's going to tell me that we're not progressing and we have to get a C-section. She comes in and says, okay, so he's not really going down far enough. We can do this thing that's kind of like a vacuum that goes in and kind of helps. You still have to push, but it kind of like helps pull him out. And I'm like a big suction. I'm like, yes, yes, thank you. So she gets all that ready. Contraction comes. She's like, it's 4:35 by this point. She's like, okay, push now. I push. I instantly feel him being pulled out. And she's like, oh my god, Lindsay, open your eyes. I remember her saying that because I was like, close my eyes and like pushing. And I remember her saying, oh my god, Lindsay, open your eyes. And I see her pulling him out. He was so cute. He came out pretty clean. Probably because I was full term. If you give birth full term, your baby is cleaner. Yeah, like less vernix and stuff. Which is not really a good thing because then they get like peely skin. You kind of want as much vernix as possible. But hello, he's looking at me. But yeah, he came out at 4:35, perfect, all 5 fingers, all 5 toes, everything was well, and he was just so cute. I remember my boyfriend saying, oh my god, he's so cute. So yeah, all the pain just disappeared. I tore, so she had to give me stitches, and again, I'm a big scaredy cat of pain. So I'm like holding him, and then my boyfriend's taking pictures of him, and I'm just watching them. My boyfriend was holding him, taking pictures in the corner, and I like the pain just disappears. I was so busy watching them and like holding my baby that I did not even feel her stitching me up. I forgot she was down there, to be honest. Like when I looked down and she was still working away down there, I'm like, oh my god, this woman is still down there. I didn't even notice that she was still there. So I got stitched up, all was well. And then about an hour later, I believe it was, we got wheeled through the doors into the room where you stay and sleep with your baby. So yeah, and we were only in the hospital. So he was actually born July 2nd, not Canada Day, past midnight, 4:35. So we were in the hospital for the full Tuesday. When did I give birth? So I went in on Monday, gave birth. We were in for the full Tuesday and went home Wednesday at noon, I think. Is that how it worked? So I was in there Monday, in for the full Tuesday, and then we went home Wednesday at noon. So I wasn't in for long. And yeah, I remember the night we were in there with him was a little rough for me. I didn't sleep because I was scared to sleep, because he was nasally, which is normal for newborns because of all the fluid from like inside you and coming out. He was really nasally and was uncomfortable, so he was really fussy the first night, and I remember being really exhausted and tired, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna be really fussy. But he was just nasally. And I remember he only wanted to sleep on me because skin to skin actually can help with the nasally, like nasal congestion when they're first born. So I was doing that and he wanted to sleep on me. But if he sleeps on me, I can't sleep because I have to like monitor him. It's dangerous to sleep with him on you. So I had to stay awake so he could sleep on me. So I remember the nurse coming in. She was pretty young, really nice. She came in and it was like 3 a.m. and she's like, oh, you should be sleeping. And I'm like, oh, he's really nasally, but he only wants to sleep on me, but because of that I can't go to sleep. And she's like, okay, why don't I take him for a little bit and do all the blood work and stuff so that I can sleep for a little bit. So this nice nurse took him for 2 hours to do all that and settle him down and give him saline. Thank you. Ugh, these nurses and doctors are amazing. She just took my baby, looked after him, did all the blood work. It was all great. And then 2 hours later she slipped him back in, and that's when I woke up. So, and he slept for a little bit and then I woke up. So yeah, it was all great. He's getting fussy. Let me grab him. So it all went really well and really smoothly, and I have my baby. He's so cute. So I want like 5 kids. Don't be scared of the contractions. It is literally a pain you forget. I've forgotten already, like, kind of what it feels like. Like, I've forgotten how bad it really was. But you forget all about it when your baby comes out, and then you realize that you make such cute babies that you want a lot more. But that is all for, let me put you down there. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm so glad I could finally introduce Bentley to you. I'm back on YouTube. I'm filming a bunch today, and we've got a lot of exciting videos now that I have a what's it called? Now that I have a partner, a YouTube partner, we have a lot of exciting videos. Routine videos, stuff like that, and also I will continue doing weight loss stuff and updates and all that kind of thing. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.